Okay, I'm going to start this video by saying sorry, because I feel that a lot of my videos cover subjects which are quite dark and depressing and not happy subjects. And honestly, I would like to cover things that are more positive and more light-hearted more often. I will try to do that. But when I started making videos on YouTube, I always set out to just be candid about my thoughts on things. And some of the things I am most passionate about are things that are contentious issues. Some YouTubers just dedicate their channels to fashion or to videos or something, and that's cool. That's good. I often watch those videos actually, but my videos are mostly about serious subjects, and that's fine. That's just the way it is. But anyway, I'd rather not talk about some of these things, but at the same time I feel I need to, just to share ideas and to express how I feel about certain situations. Not that my views are going to change anything, but just I think it's important to share ideas, because I've got a lot of positive feedback from subscribers, and I've had healthy debates with people as well, so thank you again to everyone who does subscribe. Anyway, without procrastinating any further, the issue I want to talk about here is something very disturbing I've just read about in India. And it's from the Daily Mail newspaper in the UK, and it reads, they show graphic photographs, so I'll put a link to this, but I'll warn you, they do show graphic photographs. The title is Lynch Mob Justice Indian Style. Gang break into prison and kidnap man accused of raping student, then strip him naked, drag him 4 miles and beat him to death. Well, the photos basically show that. Warning, graphic content, violent mob broke into prison in Dimapur city. Doesn't say what state that's in, I'm not sure where that is. And kidnapped alleged rapist, stripped and dragged 4 miles whilst being beaten and pelted with stones. Crowd filmed shocking incident on their phones as man died of injuries. He allegedly raped a student from a local women's college last month. The rape suspect has been identified as a 35-year-old used car trader. Government has appealed for calm following the shocking public attack. Film about the 2012 gang rape of a girl has been banned by authorities. That refers to that incident in Delhi, when this issue really started becoming prominent in India. That certainly wasn't the beginning of it, but it's when it really started becoming prominent, not just in India but internationally. Very vicious gang rape. I think it's fair to say that sentiments, emotions in India are very, very high right now, and I'll talk about the lynching incident in a second, but there was an interview with an individual called Mukesh Singh. He was one of the alleged rapists in her attack, and there's very big anger from a comment that he made that the victim deserved it. I remember reading that, and I remember feeling very angry as well. He basically said that she wouldn't have died if she just let them do it. I felt rather sickened by that. Yeah, this is what he said. When being raped, she shouldn't fight back. She should just be silent and allow the rape. A girl is far more responsible for rape than a boy. This sort of attitude is sickening. That this guy could be so fucked up in the mind that he actually thinks that way. It's hard to comprehend. So for people who heard that statement, particularly in India, I can totally understand anger, especially when that certainly wasn't an isolated case. It looks like India's dealing with a rape crisis. I'm not going to get into statistics, because I don't know what the statistics are in terms of how India compares to other countries, but I think by any barometer, India does have a very serious problem of violence against women and attitudes like that. and public anger now is resulting in these sort of vigilante cases. It's not the first such case I've heard about, but this is particularly graphic. Now, the guy who was attacked, it doesn't say that he's Mukesh Singh, because Mukesh Singh was in the Delhi case. I think this is a different case, and that is very important to note. The man being lynched is not Mukesh Singh, from what I gather, because if it was, they would be reporting that Mukesh Singh was lynched. This is an anonymous man who has been allegedly, he allegedly raped a student. This is very, very important. Allegedly. He hasn't been found guilty. He hasn't, based on the report, he hasn't been given a trial. He's not a convicted rapist. He's a man who's alleged to have committed rape. There's a very, very, very important difference. I'm not saying he's innocent, because I don't know, but I have to say this sort of thing sickens me to the core. And if you see the images, you'd have to be a pretty hard shell person not to feel disturbed by this. You know, it's not that different really, except what I'm thinking of, what it reminds me of, is black men who were lynched in the deep south of the United States in the 1920s after being, you know, accused of raping white women. Obviously there isn't a racial dynamic here, but it's still the same sort of mob stupidity, and it sickens me. I think India is becoming a very dangerous country now, for women, that's obvious, but also for men actually, because all it's going to take is, and if anyone thinks that's a bizarre statement to make, the reason I'm saying that is because I fear that this is the sort of thing whereby all it would take is a false rumour to spread. And bear in mind, there's many parts of India where education is not very high, and people don't have education. So all it could take is a false rumour to start, and innocent men might be implicated, then you'd have a lynching like this. And it looks like the government is having very little control in this. And frankly, it is giving India an extremely bad image. You could say that this sort of thing happens around the world, i.e. rape, but I don't think you have the same level of this sort of vigilante justice, and it sickens me to the core. I mean, if India really has aspirations of being a superpower, how can a nation that has a successful space program, in the same country you have this sort of absolute breakdown in law and order? It's frightening, quite frankly. Because all it takes is, what sickens me, I still wouldn't condone it even if he was guilty, because I believe in what's the expression I'm looking for, the rule of law. I believe that convicted rapists should spend a long, long time behind bars. I believe they should be severely punished with custodial sentences. I do not believe in vigilantism under any circumstances. That's not the same as saying I don't understand public anger, because I do. I was angry when I read the statements, and you know, if a woman close to me was raped, I'd feel furious. I'd probably want to do physical harm to the rapist. But emotions cannot dictate justice. They just can't. Because then you have anarchy. And you know, are we cave people? Is this how we... I'll put the link and let you decide for yourself, but if you're sitting there thinking, oh well, he's a rapist, he deserved it, a few things to point out. He was an alleged rapist. Alleged is not the same as guilty. Miscarriages of justice happen. It could be that the Indian authorities are now under pressure to get convictions, so it is plausible that innocent men might also be implicated. Guilty men may be let off the hook, we don't know. But I am absolutely convinced that two things need to happen. Number one, Indian women need to get more justice. Number two, the Indian government needs to do a lot more to rein in this sort of barbaric behaviour. And I'm sorry, but I can't think of any other word to describe that. It's barbaric. It's utterly barbaric doing that to another human being, no matter what crime they've committed. Because what they're doing to him is no better than what he may have done to that student. May have done. And this is the thing, it's alleged. And it makes me so angry that people could be so stupid that they don't think. They just let their emotions overtake their body. And I'm not saying India is unique in this regard. This sort of thing has happened all over the world. It's happened in Britain as well. Alleged paedophiles have been targeted in this country when it's nothing more than an allegation. I think what happens is public anger is fueled when there's a perception that the law isn't working and criminals aren't being punished. But there has to be rule of law, there has to be due process. I would even say that the debate about the death penalty is valid enough in this case, but that has to be through the rule of law. I think India is becoming an incredibly brutalized society because of all of this. And if you're Indian and you're feeling offended, I'm sorry, but I'm only responding as a human being to what I am seeing here. India really needs to get this in check, because we're going to have a situation where Indian women are not getting justice, and Indian men could find themselves the victim of a lynch mob because of a rumour. I mean, I'd like to know, how did this gang find out that he was in this prison? And why is it that they're acting when he is not even? It sickens me to the core. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. What do you think India should do? Maybe the approach should be in. I don't think actually the answer is necessarily in the death penalty, although I can fully understand why people would say that's the thing. But I think it's more important to get more convictions and to enable more rape victims to get justice, rather than executing the few individuals that actually are caught, because rape cases in India are notoriously bureaucratic. I read somewhere they can last as long as 10 years. Surely it's more important to get women justice and convictions, rather than just executing the minority of men who are, because if the idea is to send out a deterrent, I don't think it's going to work, because the death penalty has never been a deterrent wherever it's been used. It hasn't stopped crime, and it's the same argument I used for the Indonesian case concerning drugs. It's executing rapists isn't going to frighten other rapists into not doing it, because these are ruthless men who have no respect for a woman, and the thing that needs to change is their attitude. There needs to be a focus on that, and that comes down to education, among other things. But I am convinced that this sort of vigilante justice cannot be the way forward, because India is going to give itself a very bad reputation if it becomes known as a land where women are raped and men are lynched. That's just... And if you're Indian and you feel offended by that, I'm sorry, but these are facts. This is what is happening. And it's very disturbing.